And we're back for another co-stream, another playoff match. This time we're going over back to our homeland. We're going over to NA, but we're also going to be going over to the expert division. So this is NA expert lower bracket. So I think one of the first lower bracket matches we have seen so far, at least from what I've been able to cover. So very exciting. And already we have our first, of course, our first map coming up. We did see The Rock pick Ilios, and we're also seeing a ban onto Freya first, and now finally the Rock will also have I call him the Rock, but it's a really funny name. The Rocks will also have the opportunity to do a counter ban because the Kafe decided to ban Freya first. And do I blame them? No. So as we see, our teams get situated. They're finalizing their lineup. I mean, we're gonna have our starting 5 players for the Rock. Let me see something. We have the Dabbing Ninja. We have hashtag. We have Doomhair. Doomhair. Then we have Quaver, and then Bolatro with their coach, of course, Don Don. Oh wait, we have a Baptiste band. I can get that in there really quickly. Beautiful hero bands on, and let's get in here. Okay, let them know because they always ask like, "Why are you in here?" I'm like, well, I'm casting. So we have that. We have bands in the way. We have the Rock going in for the Freya band, and then we have the I'm sorry, we have the Kafe going in for the Freya band, and then the Rock coming in with the Baptiste band, which is very interesting. Like you don't really see a Bat band if ever. Bab kind of coming back as a support. I've been talking about a little bit earlier today, and it's just he's back. He's really strong in these brawl comps because brawl as a composition, especially spearheaded by Orisa, for example, it's back. Brawl is back. Brawl is better than ever right now, especially with Orisa at the helm. So with Bap coming back, I mean, you also have the Bap Brig that's also been really, really prominent, especially in our pro NA games, even in the FACEIT Master playoffs. We have been seeing a lot of that Bap Brig being played as well. I mean, right now you can also watch the NA Master side of things on the official Overwatch page, but otherwise we're just waiting on the Rocks people to join in. Otherwise, the Kafe, they have everyone. They're having Furs, they're having Navilia, Podiu, Celerity, and Risky. Oh, they didn't connect. Wait, my game. We'll get reinvited once lineup officially gets finalized again. Looks like maybe they're doing some swaps. Maybe they're trying to find their players. I'm not exactly sure. But we have our lineups. We are going to be reinvited back into the lobby when everyone's in there. And there it is. Beautiful. Looks like we are missing 2 from the Rock, maybe 3. Diamond Ninja wasn't able to connect the first time, but hopefully they can connect this time faster. I really want to cast like a lower bracket match, and I believe I covered it while we're waiting. Actually, we can actually go over and look specifically at least their playoff bracket so far. Let me just pull it up on this side before I go over. Let's go to playoffs, expert division, and lower bracket. So this is gonna be their bracket for now. Get away from this. This is their oh, me when I don't have. There it is. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. This is their bracket so far. Their bracket has, or this is their lower bracket so far. We're gonna be doing. Here it is. The Kafe and the Rock. On this lower end of things, they are going to be going into the winner. Well, the winner of this goes forward, and then loser of UB10, which should be. Or is UB10? UB10 here. So either the Crimsons or the New York Giants, whomever loses, will be dropping down at that point. They are missing people, so I'm not sure if they're gonna get them in time. And if we don't get a match, like, oops, I'm gonna see if I can like scoot on over to a different match. And if not, GG's at the end of the broadcast. Sorry guys. Otherwise, so once they go into either Crimson or New York Giants, then they're gonna have to fight the winner of all division, Valiant, who go forward, or whoever from upper bracket 9 comes in, wins, and then goes over here. So they have a little bit of a long road ahead of them in terms of the loser side of things. But upper bracket, let's get a little bit update on that. You can kind of see some of these are ongoing right now. So worst case, if I can't do anything, I can maybe sneak my way into one of those games, or maybe even do like a clean feed co-stream of what's going on the mainstream, just like at least fill in the time. But otherwise, kind of just waiting right now. A bit unfortunate, actually. I can't lie. Let's see. They have 3 minutes to connect. We got our bands out. I'm sure we wouldn't have gotten our bands if we couldn't get all of our people in. So maybe giving them a little bit extra time to connect, get everything situated. Otherwise, that's pretty much their bracket. Number rotation doing very well so far in that aforementioned bracket. Extinction Jurassic also going up against them at looks like 10 o'clock. So I actually might be able to do that match if worst case scenario we can't do this one. And then we had Dill Ducklings versus Voidwalkers, and then Crossover versus Aurora Noctis. And then we had a little bit of EMEA earlier as well, and I think we can get a little bit of an update on that because we covered that as well earlier. Uh-oh. I got kicked out of the match. Hold on. Let's go back to our thing. It is put on hold right now. I'm going to see if maybe there's maybe a problem in Discord I can maybe assess. Give me 2 seconds. I don't see anything, so it looks like it did get put on hold so far. So we just gotta wait to see what the admins say. Maybe they need a ringer. I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully it gets situated because otherwise we had nothing. We'll have nothing, and this is playoffs. This is lower bracket. This is like they're not gonna want to leave. So you know, I'll do everyone a favor. We'll as we wait for these guys to come back, we can go back over to Overwatch and just kind of wait out. What friend of mine is in here? I want to know what friend I have in here. Definitely somebody, but otherwise, we're just gonna wait. Still on hold. I have on my other monitor as we load into on a paintball. Why not? Oh, they're getting a substitution, so it looks like they're finalizing the match. That's a-okay. Oh, I'm ass. Oh my god. They got me. Okay, let me finalize. When we get invited, we'll just like leave. That's okay. Yo, can I get like a little bit of breathing room? Okay, goodbye. Alright. Now we're back. Okay, same band, same map. Looks like we're going to Ilios, still the Baptiste band, still the Freya band. We are all good. Looks like they are good to go. Oh my goodness. I went like even on a paintball in the first 5 minutes. This is so sad. I like, to be fair, I had very unlucky spawns. Not too much on me. I had unlucky spawns. I was spawning in the same spot 2 times in a row. I could only do so much. But otherwise, we're waiting on just one. They got looks like they got a substitution in. For the Rock. Damage is there. We have hashtag is there. Balatro is there. Courier is there. Looks like Prestissimo couldn't make it, so maybe they're trying to get someone to fill in for them. Oh wait, no, looks like Doom here can make it. Prestissimo should be the one to fill in instead. Hopefully they get in there. Wow, they have 1700. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're good. I mean, all these scores are really crazy. Like my humble like 800 score. Like I don't really play in FACEIT, so they can't really calculate my actual score, which I'm okay with, right? A humble 800 maybe. I have no idea what my actual score is. Might be even lower than that, but these guys are like more than double my, like they're at like 1700, 2000. Someone has 2100. That's celerity. Oh, there's Prestissimo. Yay! All right, we're in. Start things off on Ruins. Game very graciously gives me the starting area to go to. Oh, wow. I feel like an observer. So basically, as we go over to Ruins, this is kind of where you'll likely see some Hazard be played. You can definitely see Hazard. You can definitely see Brawl be played here. Otherwise, it should really look towards the Orisa, look towards any sort of Brawl. Jungle Queen also can absolutely do fantastic here, but otherwise, this becomes a matter of long-range heroes. So Widowmaker, Freya, they do both extremely well on this type of map for the respective high grounds. But otherwise, like I said, looks like we're going to be seeing almost an exact mirror here. I'm sure first is going to be swapping over to the Tracer to match Balatro here and keep them in check. But otherwise, Sojourn making reappearance. We have Kiriko and Lucio also as a staple backline, especially in NA. If you were here for EMEA earlier, they were really playing a lot of different backlines. We saw Kiriko, we saw we saw Bap Bayari, we saw Bap Brig, we saw Juno Brig, we saw Juno Kiriko. We saw a lot of different things being played here. So as we see us lock in on these rosters as the timer ticks down, we're definitely sticking to the Orisa mirror, almost a full mirror here. I'm gonna see what first. Yep, there we go. Both of them going over to the Tracer here. First fight on goes. Seeing these long sight lines, you're going to see the rotation. One side going over to the entryway, other side going over to the coast here. That being the Rock on blue and the Kafe on the right. And this is kind of just a poke battle here. But they are closing in that space, and it's going to be Prestissimo coming in close. So really encroaching on enemy territory, while the rest of the Rock really situate on the objective, and they're going to actually cap it first, because they're just kind of making sure Risky can't take any frontline pressure. The pressure is really high. They were using the spin and the javelin spin as well, the spear and the javelin charge. So really, resources really in the favor of the Rock, especially as they also get a leg up in, of course, that number bank. Taking care of celerity from the side of Courier on the Sojourn. This is gonna be pretty much a get out of my sight, get out of my area, and the Rock is gonna. The whole team of the Rocks are just gonna sit right here and not allow these guys to move. Oh, you know who has ult though? Navilla. Literally already has a, really forward in that ult percentage than their counterpart, that being Ninja. And we're playing in it, and we get Persistimo as well. The Spear slightly whipped to also get the Pulse Palm committed by first onto Courier, and thankfully they take this before the 50 percentage marker, giving. This is not that bad. Very early retake coming in from the Kafe, and they're gonna be pushing up a little bit here as well. I mean, they're on their own high grounds. I mean, they are committed to make sure they have all these angles on top of the Rocks, especially as they are now moving through this little area. Might get pincered out a bit here, but we do see the continued rush on this from the high ground down towards the objective. I think I actually got cut off a little bit here. Couldn't courier fast enough, and there's also the sound barrier from Poryu. So this fight on goes by the way of the Kafe. I mean, they're continuously taking these fights, and they're also able to find a lot of these trade-offs in the mirror. Courier versus Celerity, for example, first versus Balatro. Very nicely done, and they're going to be continuing to rack up ult charge during each fight. They used Sound Barrier earlier. They also had used Navilla's continued rush in that previous fight to open up with first, also coming in with that Pulse Bomb. Now we have Celerity and Risky with their own Terror Surge and Overclock mirroring Courier and Prestissimo. So while we had to open up, I need to see if Courier can actually make some space work with this Overclock, and there's a Sound Barrier. Misses Sari, unfortunately, and that is going to, Mrs. Courier, and that's just gonna be the round, the fight going by the way of the Kafe. I misheard, so I thought that it was the other way around, but yeah, no, Courier just didn't have the sound barrier, and Risky kind of pulled him into that Terror Surge, and that was just gonna be it. Very nicely done from these guys. Oh, what a spear. And they're going for the same rotation. This time, again, Courier having the Overclock, setting up on this left area, or the right area, technically. Getting poked out by this Lucio. Poryu looking a little bit worse for wear. It needs to be healed up. Risky looks over at the Sojourn. We got to slide right out. Also seeing the Overclock being expended. Couldn't find Poryu. Go on the high ground? And we do, in fact, find that Lucio. But maybe a little bit too much time wasted in order to secure that kill, because look at this. Even though we lost Lucio, you lost the rest of your tank, and you lost your other opposing Lucio. Balatro commits with the Pulse on. Doesn't really find anything besides the death from Risky, and as Courier goes to get the Mega Pack, they get slid right off of the map, and that's going to be the first round of Ilios going by the way of the Kafe. Not even the Prestissimo on the Doomfist can touch in time. And even if you did touch, Risky has so many options to negate a Doomfist. The Spear, the Javelin Spin, so many options. Fortify as well, and make her immovable for any sort of punch, any sort of displacement that Doomfist wants to do. So despite everything, they did a fantastic job. Very, very nicely done. Very nicely done. What a Suzu. So as we now move forward to, this is Lighthouse. I'm seeing a Winston... No, not Lighthouse. Excuse me. This actually is not going to be Lighthouse. This is going to be WoW. I'm seeing a Winston. I'm seeing the Ana Lucio specifically, which you don't really see all that often as a backline, but I love it personally as an Ana player because my Lucio just kind of like carries me everywhere. I go there, I go here, I go there, and my Lucio's like, yeah, I got you. I'll just speed boost you around, and it's really fun. So we're going to be seeing a dive v dive happen. Celerity goes over to the Cassidy, so that tank pressure will be in fact there, especially onto Prestissimo. But otherwise, that's a target. That's a dive target for this defending side here from the Rock. Going Cage, whereas the rest of the team of the Rock are actually going to be fighting around the objective, finding these high grounds to position and default to. But, I mean, we're seeing an all-in dive from Risky, which aids in the defeat of Courier. And it's just Prestissimo on the objective, putting a lot of pressure on this Kiri and this Tracer split here. But otherwise, here comes Celerity, and just like I said, that caster is going to be a really big hindrance, quite literally, on Prestissimo on the Winston. And now they're pushing in. Recall expended and kind of called out by Celerity once more, going in between a rock and a hard place, that being that blink area that they went to, and then you kind of just got headshot by this cast, and we're just going to see a continuance of this assault from the Kafe. Oh, mind you, there's a demec that actually did happen on Risky, only 40% to a remec here. Gonna be followed out by Hash, but otherwise doesn't really find too much besides first getting the mirror off, and there again goes my Diva. You get a trade-off, and we can use one more kill. That's even better for the side of the Kafe. They're technically up one right now, even going down first. Corey gets a headshot. Celerity finishes off beautifully, and now we can actually get a recontest with Celerity and the supports as well. Everyone's backing up from the same time from the Rock. They weren't really confident enough to maintain this fight without Balatro there. Oh, we're walking with High Noon. Oh, what a good pressure, good space being made. Everyone going these separate ways, and again, the Kafe really finding their mark here multiple times, over and over and over again. Pulse Bomb goes completely wide, doesn't even get to stick onto Celerity. I mean, Diva Bomb is ready as well. I mean, all we have is Courier's Overclock, but here comes this Sound Barrier as well, and they're still pushing in. Sorry, I thought they're actually gonna have to fight a little bit further out, further into the objective, but no. But mind you, Prestissimo on the objective, trying his absolute best, only 4% away from that primal, and goes down by the way of Celerity. I mean, Prestissimo does find a way out, but not for very long. Risky going in. Overclocking the expended, but it's all for naught. 95%. Here comes a bomb as well. Here comes a primal to maybe force a touch, but cannot get there in time. The Kafe takes it 2-0 on Ilios. Relatively unanswered as well. Really nicely done. Good dives coming in. Just good all-in dives. You know, you can kind of see from the Rock, they played the more split dive. You know, you have your Ana and your Lucio. On off angle, you have your Winston going in. What a save. And then you have, of course, your Tracer kind of doing what Tracer needs to do. Just kind of going around, making sure that no one can really play the game. Making sure that people aren't able to fall in on their own dives. But then you're seeing an all-in dive anyway from the Kafe with... If Diva is there, so is Cassidy, so is Tracer, so is Kiriko, so is Lucio. They're all moving as a unit. It's really difficult to disrupt that type of rotation if you're not interrupting the rotation in the first place, which unfortunately the Rock weren't doing. So as we move over to the pick and ban phase again, we're going to go over to Dorado, and we're also going to be seeing that ban from the Rock onto Diva. So let's get that right now. So looks like attacker. So the Kafe will be attacking, so they're going to be on that right side. Oh, thank God. That makes my life so much easier. Going to be going with a 1 point for the Kafe. Team 1 ban looks like Cafe's banning second. So we can see a Diva ban from the Rock, which is fair. Dorado, very solid for Diva. So if you inhibit it, you are forcing some other dive to be played. You know, you want to maybe force a Hazard, a Winston, whatever. Winston Mirror ideally is in a perfect world, but also Sigma can still absolutely work, especially on first point. So you have to be on your A game if you're defending on Dorado. You know, you just have to kind of like be locked in, loaded, and you can't mess up. Basically, that defense is everything on first point Dorado. It is more important than air to an extent. Just kind of waiting on these next couple of seconds for liners to be finalized and for me to get the invite. But otherwise, I haven't seen the Cafe's ban. Again, it kind of just... They just don't want to give me a ban ever. They don't... FACEIT doesn't like take a second to let you see the second ban before they like immediately go into the lineup phase. So There it is. It's gonna be Ana. What? Ana? What am I girl getting banned for? Okay. Well, they're like, okay, if you want to play dive, what is one of the best characters to inhibit dive? Ana. Boom. You know, I get it. Ana ban, bro. Poor K. Poor Kwa. Well, poor Kwa is it on the ban. Okay, here we go. Okay. Da-da. I love Dorado personally. Well, I like Dorado as a map. I don't like playing on Dorado. I like the design of Dorado. That's why I like. I mean, we're gonna see what they load out on. I kind of want to see what dive mirror we're gonna see. I don't know if we're gonna see a Winston mirror exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did. You know. So I don't have a controller, so it's going super fast. It is not nice and gentle and slow like all the other cool observers can do. I kind of called it. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing the Winston versus the Hazard here. Maybe even the ball. Okay, Risky is just figuring out what dive they want to play, but otherwise looks like we're running almost the exact same compositions, save for Celery and Courier on their separate snipers. You know, the being the Freya versus the Ashe. Which I don't mind. I do quite like Ashe on Dorado personally. I think I just love Ashe as a character. I think she's just a cool character in general. But Freya, she has so much advantage. She has way better movement. She has really solid not missiles. They basically missiles, but she has really solid arrows. They explode on you. She finds so much value. She gets ult charged incredibly fast with her bullet shot. It is just she is leagues above what Ashe would love to be, right? So as you see this rollout coming in from the Kafe, again, on the attack side of things, Poryu and Persismo going to be the ones on this high ground, and Poryu is like, oh, there's two of them, got to back out, going to play this this rooftop, but otherwise, here comes a dive coming in from Balatro, and he immediately gets right back out. The Winston experience, I fear. Getting in, getting out, not really being able to commit to a dive. Good peel back, making sure that this Hazard does not get any sort of leg up on onto hashtag Rain M. Okay, got it. I mean, cards are already almost halfway through Dorado here. Forces the recall really early from first as well. Here comes a dive from Risky, and Balatro is super low, and Kaven, I think, overshot the middle bridge area, which would have really helped them out a lot. But otherwise, that's going to be a trade of the tanks. So again, looking towards the DPS to stabilize, make sure that they can play even without a tank. And Persisimo finds one celerity. So that's just, it's just to see the supports. And first, from the side of the Kafe, that have to retreat, wait for their Winston to come back. Or, sorry, wait for their Hazard to come back and get a regroup. Thankfully, at the same time, Balatro comes back as well. So as we see this next fight is starting to set up on this high ground, it's going to be interrupted a little bit by Risky here. Taking a little bit of risk. I mean, following this Winston into this dive, Suzu going to be expended as well. You're burning from the Dynamite. Suzu also used... What a Suzu. Really good Suzu timing from the side of Navilia. Oh, here comes a continued rush, however. Really big one as well in favor of the defenders. Good Suzu and just good good bubble placement. Means that Balatro stays alive even longer in that engagement, which would have gone really sour. Navilla also having used their own continued rush, this time on the low ground, up the objective of the cart. Oh, we are getting active. Hold on. Starting to use the bullet shot. We also see Koryu expend the sound barrier as well to keep the fight alive. Here comes a Bob from Courier, post ominously as well. A Bob behind the bubble means that this is gonna be a big hold for the Rock here. Oh wow. I mean, almost everything was used, save for the downpour and the upcoming primal. But otherwise, really good defense from the Rock. They didn't let the colorfulness of everything, the double continue rushes, the sound barriers, they didn't let everything kind of get too much. But Courier on the defense side finds another pick onto first, which is, again, going to be inhibiting this dive from the Kafe. Risky's kind of stuck in this place where, okay, I need to wait for my tracer so we can actually get this dive off while Celerity stays safe in his backline. And Balatro, mind you, just has primal. He's chilling. I mean, all eyes are definitely on Celerity as we try to find our way away from Balatro's dive here. Does get the peel back, and everyone backs up immediately. Okay, this Lucio, though. Corey, I'm not Courier. Celerity's struggling a tiny bit to find these opening picks here. Risky also struggling to find a good opening for this downpour. Everyone on this team is hypermobile except for Courier, pretty much. So as we go for this downpour in this next engagement, you had to find a stabilized target, and unfortunately, you're gonna lose out on Celerity, who was building up to that next bola shot. Primal, not primal, excuse me. Well, yes, primal, but also pulse bomb used right on top of Risky, sending the hazard back into the spawn room, and the primal expended, putting pressure onto, of course, first, and that's it. Recall ruse early, and Balatro backs out immediately. No need to press if we just won the fight easily. Ult Charge will be in favor. Ult Economy is in favor of the Kafe so far, being Pulse, being the Downpour, Bullet Shot as well. Gonna be online in about a couple of seconds. And here comes the Continue Rush from the Villia first. From this little, from the high ground, actually teeters into that barrier as well. Here comes the Downpour as well, kind of situating nobody, unfortunately. Actually, everyone getting out, I believe, just by a good Suzu from Dabbing Ninja, who does come in with their own Continue Rush right at the tail end of the defense phase. Overtime has been expended here. Balatro is super low. Doesn't really have anything to... and thankfully, we have a sound barrier to help sustain this fight even longer. Balatro needs to stay alive as long as possible. Suzu also being used here. And there goes Risky. Fight going on too long. Can't sustain through it. And that pretty much is going to be... ideally, a really solid defense from the Rock. Actually, no one could touch. Well, actually, meanwhile, I lied. People could touch. I think it was just the how hectic everything was. Everything was just too hectic. There was too much going on. My Tracer was, Tracer was fighting Tracer on the other side of things. First was too busy making sure that, I believe Dabbing Ninja just couldn't get any sort of value, but not Dabbing Ninja, sorry, Persistimo couldn't get any sort of value on that Tracer, while Balatro was just staying on the objective, trying to stay alive as long as possible. And thankfully, they got that trade-off with Risky, right? And that's what you wanted. You wanted that trade-off with Risky. You want to make sure that they don't have a dive for a while. They don't have a tank for a while, especially in overtime. Pretty much, the Rock has their work cut out for them as they go on the attack phase now. They need to just lock in. It's just that simple. And mind you, I also want to mention really quickly, there is a slight role swap here. Persistimo was on tank last time. Balatro was on DPS last time. They did swap, I believe, between game 1 and game 2. Which I think is working a lot better for these guys. I was confused at first because I was... Well, FACEIT doesn't exactly, like, order people by their role. So whenever I have my FN keys, I usually just, like, hope and pray that I remember F1 through 5 and F7 through 11. But they swapped sides. So I was like, whoa, I'm taking a whole different person that I want to. But it's all good. What's this? What's this? I mean, they're going for cheese, complete cheese. They want to go for these one shots. They want to go for annoyance, that being the Torbjorn, that being Celerity on Tracer again. Poryu is really there to pull everyone out of bad spots, but then there goes the Villia before getting one onto his Courier. I'm seeing rotation around the coast here. Gets an insane hook onto hashtag. Oh my goodness, wait. Might be real. Actually has a pig pen also on the objective here. Oh no, my Winston's super low, but Risky can absolutely heal themselves up with the, I call it the vape personally. And then gets out of there with the life pedal, waiting for Navilla to come back. I believe almost coming back by this point. Courier narrowly avoiding the touch of death of that hook. Oh, Balatro super low. Good peel from the supports. Courier on the soldier now. After getting off the Widowmaker, excuse me, but Navilia once more finding imperative picks and finding imperative finishers for the side of the Kafe. This defense, despite this very funny, wacky kind of comp, it's working. It's working against something that should be pretty ironclad, right? So Balatro decides, okay, Winston's not going to work, especially into this Torbjorn, especially into this Roadhog. Let's go over something that maybe can self-sustain a little bit longer with that damage reduction, like Hazard, for example. I mean, they're going for a little bit of a big rotation around the coastline, but there's a pulse onto Dabbing Ninja with no Suzu having been expended super early on. That's a big opening pick for the Kafe as they continue this defense. Mind you, Cart is super close to the objective, so if anyone really wanted to, we might be able to just kind of like move the Cart and force some repositioning from the Kafe because they're looking really good right now. Again, on this comp of all things, recall already expended. Oh, I love some Life Weaver gameplay. Oh, yes. Yes, get him. Oh, I love Life Weaver gameplay. Hold on. There we go. Tree of Life used, Pulse Bomb used. Otherwise, everything else is online. Except for the Overclock, but to be fair, Gahoria did swap over to Sojourn relatively later off the Widowmaker, so they're going to be able to that Overclock relatively soon. But there is, again, here comes Balacho forcing the objective, and everyone now being pushed over to defend it. Here is a sound barrier from Hashtag as a response to this, to continue rushing from the Villa. Moment Core also being used on this high ground, and there goes a turret, unfortunately. But, oh, here comes the Pigpen. Or not Pigpen, but here comes the, Whole Hog. There it is. On the objective, pushes everyone off of it. What otherwise would have been a really great attack from the Rock. Unfortunately, goes haywire. Only a minute left in the clock here, and again, you're kind of getting frustrated. They're playing Hog, they're playing Torb. It's very natural for someone to get frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they might be getting a little bit tilted, especially with Risky. Gets a really risky play like that. Goes right in, finds the hook, finds the kill, and then finds another one onto Dabbing Ninja. We've wasted 15 seconds just trying to rotate from this small little area. Let's make some open space. We have to make some space for the Rock, because the Kafe, in these small situations, in these small areas, they prosper in small and close spaces. So as we have 4 ultimates online, I need something to be used. Risky, they're trying to bully Risky off this high ground, forces it off, gets a life grip out of commission. That's a 60-second cooldown. That's massive. Now these backliners going to be looked at, stuck. Oh, I mean, heavily stuck here. Has to get peeled back instead. Actually goes in for the kill. A little bit aggressive, a little bit, a tiny bit greedy, if you will. The rest of the team is down. It's really just Persistimo trying their best to at least touch the objective alongside Balatro, who again has downpour. We're gonna be actually expending it onto this Hog, but the life grip, I'm sorry, the Tree of Life is just enough to keep everyone up. They can't break through this Torbjorn Life Weaver composition. They get full health basically here on Dorado, when you would think this wouldn't work. You would think that this would be a cheese comp of all things. It would work for maybe 1 or 2 fights, but no, they bring it back, they pull it out, and they get the defense. They take it 2-0 so far, and they're already on match points. What a game. You would never expect to have gone that way either. Like, this was a really good defense from the Rock, and you would think, you know, we could do the same thing, but you're expecting the same thing to be run. You're expecting the dive to be run with the Hazard or Winston or whomever. You don't expect to see Roadhog and Torbjorn and Life Weaver. The only sensible characters in that whole comp was Kiriko and Tracer, and yet they were able to put so much pressure with Turret by negating pressure with Life Grip and Suzu, by blocking off areas with Tree of Life, for example, and displacing with things like Whole Hog. The Kafe found a way to do it. They just did. So looks like we're going to be seeing another pick coming in from the Rock. They're going over Hollywood, and they're going to opt to defend first. And now they're going to go straight in for an unironic Roadhog ban. Something very much out of left field if you were not here all of 2 seconds ago. But I get it. I get it. I'll do the same thing. I'm not a good person. Like, you running that on a dive map? Yeah, you got it. It negates dive. Completely negates dive. Negates the Winston. You get pulled out. You negates Hazard. You get pulled. You're also getting pelted by a turret in the backline somewhere that no one's able to look at because they're being looked at by a Torbjorn or by a Tracer or by a flanking Kiriko. I get it. I understand completely. I definitely understand completely. I would be like, where do I go? All right, and there's gonna be a Lucio ban from the Kafe. I mean, they're very adamant on just banning support, which is fair. All right, I'm going straight in. Everyone locked in. Whoa, we are going straight into it. No funny business to be seen. Hollywood, this is where dive is beautiful. This Ana Brig or Ana whomever goes crazy. I can't go this way. Okay, there's like an invisible barrier here. Hold on, look. Wait, now I look crazy. No. I couldn't go past this earlier. See? I gotta like go down and then through. This movie set. Okay. Going over to Hollywood. Attacking first is going to be the Kafe once again. Risky goes over to the Orisa. We have Balatro sticking onto the tank. They're going to be going Hazard here. And, of course, on a break for defense, which I'm a big fan of. We're going to be also seeing the Bappin Brigida from the Kafe. So our first appearance of that backline for the night for sure. And I would love to see Celebrity go over to Freya, maybe, if they want to, since first is going to be sticking onto this Tracer, likely coming in from this little room right here. Look at his backline, go over here, go all the way around, and then harass this Ana and Brig. Ooh, Ana skin check? Ooh, I approve of Captain Amari. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start things off. I'm actually going to spec over here. I think it's a little easier to see the rotation, especially as they are playing a Brawl comp. So, like I said, Orisa is really spearheading the Brawl propaganda right now, and Baptiste is back to help with that propaganda. Phase enact. I mean, they don't have any sort of way to go to his backline. They're going to be very susceptible to this anti-nade from Dabbing Ninja. Risky's trying their best to get in there. I mean, in fact, gonna be pushing straight over to the objective on the right corner, on this corner side, while the rest of the team go over to the high ground and are gonna be looked at by Balatro, who gets speared and then pressured out. Oh, what a sleep, though. Unfortunately, we lose Persissimo and we lose Balatro. Balatro kind of cornering themselves by accident, while the rest of his backline was being looked at pretty much by first. I mean, they have to disengage completely, unfortunately, and that's going to be the first and second tick gone by the wayside of the Kafe, and they're going to be able to set up on this high ground for this next defense phase because, you know, the Rock knows, listen, we lost that point. We have to move forward. Going over to the Winston now. Going to be going for a very, very traditional on a Brig Winston composition here with Courier on the Ashe once again. I mean, they're set up. They're good to go. They have 5 minutes in this time bank to push this all the way to second or completely hold them right here, right now. And looking at this Baptiste, forcing the shit to be used, but Balatro, I mean, gets pushed into a corner, and there's no way that there was going to be any sort of appeal from the backline there. Just kind of pushed up, not even just by himself, was trying to look for some pressure on that backline, on that Baptiste, and then suddenly you have an Orisa looking at you, spearing you in the corner, and then that's it. Boom. It is what it is and ain't what it ain't, right? Now they've overtaken the high ground. I mean, you're leaving first on the cart, I'm assuming. You're overtaking this high ground away from the defenders, which is a very big setup that you kind of need on Hollywood sometimes. But Navilla kind of gets pushed away easily by Balatro. Mind you, Risky just bypassing completely this frontline pressure, or bypassing completely this frontline, and goes straight to the backline, taking care of Dabbing Ninja, who has Nano. So that Nano's not going to be online for his next fight. And Courier, unfortunately, just kind of gets speared on the rotation back to spawn. I'm expecting his next fight to go by the way of this Nano, but we also seen the overclock from Celery. Really, again, putting in a lot of this effort to make sure these guys cannot walk out these spawn doors, and Balatro can't even play the game. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the wrong rally. I'm sorry. Porio's actually going for the rally here. Looking at their opposing mirror is gonna be Porio finding the one up in that fight, and then suddenly, just like that, they roll right on through with little resistance on Hollywood over to second point, giving them a second 5-minute time bank in the same game. Once more, we still have the rally and we have the Nano for the Rock. So as they come set up on this high ground alongside their Winston, it's just Risky's already there. Risky just teleports wherever he wants. Oh my goodness! I mean, we're pushed up. We're super pushed up, making sure this car has as much space as possible, playing with the Mega Pack, making sure that Balatro can't really get the jump on us. But I mean, here comes a jump, in fact. Oh, but look at the health pool. I mean, you drop down for 2 seconds, you go from 500 to 200 HP, forced to use a Primal now, and now you're in this really open area where the Kafe doesn't really have to worry about staying in there. They go to you, they look at you, they get the pressure on. This 30 still is able to find so much pressure with this Soldier and with these rail shots, with coming up on this overclock as well. Neither supports from the backline have been able to use their own respective ultimates, which is, I must be frustrating. But here comes the Nano, good sleep, but no, really good gold from expended, but really also just avoiding this Orisa from Dabbing Ninja. Very, very nicely done as we keep life up even longer for this backline. They need to stay alive as long as possible to help their Winston, and finally they find some sort of lease on life, and they find these other traits that are even better, which they almost do give on a 3 tap back. Oh my god, give her more damage again, please. What a hold. Good Nano from Dabbing Ninjas. Help save that fight. Good also LOSing that terror search from Risky, which allowed hashtag to keep their Ana up again and maintain that objective under their belt, maintain this defense once again, because otherwise it was going to go straight by the wayside of the Kafe if that Terror Surge got both of the supports, even just one of them. So as we have the rally built up, we're going to be using it right here, right now, pushing in. Here's a opposing rally from Poryu, shutting down Prestissimo. But we're still going to be going with this rally against a Golden Orisa, getting pushed back a lot, because there's also a Bob on the field here, looking at Risky, making sure that we have to keep this defense up alive even longer. But here comes also the overclock as well from the back. From the back. Oh, but that's it. Asimo forced to use recall super early. First finds one to Balatro, so they're down their tank right now. And I think they're going to be pushing in with this as well, because Risky is going to be in there. They have a tank. They have the Orisa. They're looking at this Brigida, who bashes back. And there's a Nano onto the Brigida. Wait a minute. Double Nano. Both of these guys going to be, with the strike perk, going to be Nano, but not for very long. As first, let's take care of damage very, very easily. And there's also going to be, of course, from the Villa, there is a big amplification matrix right around that passageway where your supports want to sit, where the opposing supports want to sit consistently. All you gotta do is get rid of this Winston and push this all the way to third. It's just Courier, no Bob. Oh, here comes Debbie Ninja on the Kiriko. Also finds nothing. And that's a 3-pointer on Hollywood for the Kafe. Fantastic work. Pushing through the defense after they kind of lost their momentum just a tiny bit there, with that territory not getting Debbie Ninja at the same, not getting Diving Ninja, and Diving Ninja able to, you know, help themselves, get the Nano off on Balatro, and then they retake that defense. That was great. They shaved off 2 minutes, but otherwise, so they had a 5-minute time ban. They shaved down about 2.5 minutes of it, which is definitely respectable. Not shabby at all. And what sucks though is if you're the Rock, you're looking at this time bank. You're looking at 3 points on the board here for the Kafe. You're looking at a match point for the Kafe, right? You have to make sure that this attack is pretty perfect. You have to get as much time in the time bank as possible for this first objective to unlock. Then you have to be able to set up on General Store, on and forward, the same way that we saw the Kafe do so, where they really overtook their high ground and pushed them back in third point while the card was still halfway through second. That's what you need. You need that momentum. You need that space being built for yourself, especially when you're looking down the barrel of a 3.2.5 minute time bank for the Kafe if we go to overtime rounds. Speaking of Kafe, not going to be shifting away from their brawl comp. They're going to be sticking with the Orisa, with Baptiste, Brigida, and Sojourn. First, of course, thing on Tracer, almost a need at this point because of how strong she can be, especially on Hollywood. But here comes the jump in from Balatro on the opposing high ground. He's looking at this backline, but then gets pushed out by, I believe, just first really, for trying their best to back up. But Celerity once more finding these rails. No one's really respecting this Sojourn quite yet, but thankfully we do get a trade-off. We get a trade-off hashtag for first, and we also get get rid of Risky. Mind you, Prestissimo on this Hanzo, getting those storm arrows, getting that port pressure in, that one shot as well is absolutely massive. But now Balatro kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, does stay alive long enough to get topped up by the back line. Oh, mind you, the closest to ult here is that Nano from Dabbing Ninja. She comes in for the attack, but gets anti-nated. There's a big attack happening on the top of Kafe here. Balatro needs to stay alive a little bit longer to help build this Nano even longer. Here goes Prestissimo also down for the count. Good peel back from the tank, from the DPS as well. Nano online and gonna be expended onto Balatro, going onto Celerity. Forces the slide, and a beautiful snipe in the air sends the Sojourn player out of the fight. They're forced to drop down, help and take care of Balatro. It actually works out beautifully for the Kafe. Right at the tail end of that objective capture, they drop down and don't lose too many people. They only lost really 2, and then they drop down and get rid of Balatro, and that was pretty much going to be the end of the fight. Balatro couldn't get the primal fast enough off of that Nano. So really good plays, really good defense again from the Kafe, giving a 2-minute and 15-second time bank given to the Rock to have one last push for his last, just simple last tick. And there goes Celerity, but here comes a Terror Surge, and it's absolutely massive. First coming in with everyone coupled up like that, they go for the dash, and then everyone just kind of falls right after the fact. Hashtag super close to this rally. No, I'm not gonna really be staggered. They're gonna have that wave respawn with their tank. What a spear! I mean, knowing the trajectory of where they're going to go is so strong. From that far away as well, very smart from Risky. I mean, they're super pushed up. Here comes Velatro diving in. There goes poor Ryu. So both Brigitte is out of the question. Velatro finds one, shuts down the overclock, but now looking at this back line of Navila. Can they find it? Oh, but we have Primal, and we find the objective. We find the kill. We have Primal versus 2, that being Genji, that be first, that being also Risky. Overclock extended by Courier. I mean, loading all these shots into the Orisa is exactly what you need here. Forcing that spin, forcing that gold. Now also forcing the spear to be expended. I mean, that's almost no cooldowns for Risky. Coming down on just 1 minute on the clock here. All we have is the Dragon Strike into the coming Dragon Blade. It doesn't even do anything. Oh, Persisimo's popping off with his Hanzo. Persisimo's hopping off with his Hanzo. I'm sorry, gang. I'm not watching you. Persisimo almost being the single-handed force that really helped that fight go by the way of the Rock, and also allowing them to open the objective up for the second part of Hollywood. Now, they only have a 3-minute time bank versus the 5.5 minutes that the Kafe had. Mind you, pushing almost uncontestedly the entire time. Oh, that's a good shutdown. Risky's also super low. Haven't been anti-nated. I still can't even find the mini pack either. Or the mega pack, excuse me. Actually completely avoids it while the rest of the team is being shut down by Velatro and company. High ground gonna be taken over by Courier and Persisimo and the backline, in fact, on that high ground. And looking at Risky's going over to the jail. Can't find the opposing kill. And we also see the lamp being expended, of course, by Navilia. Will we get rid of it first? That's even better. Oh my goodness. Comes Risky with that Terror Surge. I mean, I see the opportunity. Unfortunately, we've lost first, so that follow-up isn't really going to be there as well. And Primal, oh my goodness, in the corner. This is where you love to see Primal be used, and even forcing out these the rally from Poryu. Here comes a Pulse Bomb as well, takes care of Courier, so kind of a trade-off between DPSs, and that's okay because there's going to be a recontest coming in from the Kafe here, is what I would say. But here comes the Dragon Strike right down that alleyway, but first coming from the back. No apologies, no nothing, just vibes. My Ana's in jail, gets called out by Poryu, and that's the end of this attack phase from the Rock. What a fight. What an engagement, what a fight. What a sneaky kill from first, by the way. You know, taking care of Persisimo on the back end. It's just from the back, boom, get away from my people. On this high ground, I mean, we're going to see Risky fall down to meet Velatro in this little room. In the saloon, I believe. Yeah, it's a saloon. Finding first is really good to do first, but then you trade out Velatro for Navilla. Could still go any way. We have Deadeye ready for Courier, and he's set up on this high ground. He's ready to go. When people want to walk, he's going to make some space happen. I think he's going to save it. He's going to save it for this next fight. We're down Dabbing. We're down Persisimo, who's now going over to the Tracer. First has Dragon Blade. Navilla has the Amplification Matrix. The Celerity is going to come up on that Pulse Bomb as well. I mean, the ult economy is very much in favor. I think of the Kafe, I feel like. Excuse me. What a pick. Wait, what a pick. Oh, wait, where are we? Oh no! Big Nano go. Wait, big Nano from Velatro, from Demon Ninja onto Velatro. Oh, we're going straight into this window, shutting it down 94% to a Primal. But here comes the Dragon Blade, looking at this Ana, but can't find her in time. But still finds Persisimo trying to back away from this fight. 10 seconds left on the clock here. Velatro has a Primal, trying their best to stay alive on this objective, while Demon Ninja is going to be looked at by first. And that's no supports. That's no one else to touch, is why I think hashtag goes into Juno. But that's really it. The Kafe takes it 3-0 over the Rock. Very nicely done indeed. There was some shining moments for the Rock to take it back, but unfortunately they just couldn't. What a game. Very nicely done for everybody. I am very, very pleased. Very, very entertained. What a match. Well done from everyone. Very well done. Risky, I have learned, is a menace on this Orisa. Do not deal with them. Does not need to be dealt with at all. And speaking of, here is a little bit of a reminder of what we had gone through in this 3-0. We had Ilios, we had Dorado, we had Hollywood. Both of these, I feel like, were very, very close. I mean, 0-1 is, it's close. It has to be close. You know, you were able to hold them before first, and then they basically overtook you at the very last second. And then here, 1-3, the second point was so, so close for the Rock to push in. I just feel like they got a little bit too anxious. Maybe they got a little bit too pressured out. They wanted to get there faster and faster and faster, and then that's kind of what resulted in them losing out on people mid rotations, mid touch. They lost dabbing really early. They lost hashtag really early. They lost a lot of people during these rotations. They lost Balacha, who's going in against the backline, and the peel from Risky on the Arisa. It was a lot to deal with. Reminder of the bans: we had Bap and Freya map 1, then we had Diva and Ana map 2, and then lastly Roadhog and Lucio map 3. All of which are very, very understandable and respectable bans, especially that Roadhog ban. The things I saw that Roadhog on Dorado are to be studied. And now we can actually look over at their at the bracket. Once again, I think some people are finishing up right now. So let's look over at the playoff bracket for experts. Excuse me. These are still ongoing. This guy starts in about 8 minutes, so that will be very entertaining to watch on the sideline of things. But otherwise, lower bracket, Kafe looking real good. The Rock exiting out at 2, 4, 6, 8. I think that's wait. They got 16th. Oh my goodness. 16th. This is top 8. Right here's top 8. This is for 7th place. So this is what, 9th? Wait, how many people? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, they exit out at 16th. 16th place, 15th place, 14, 13. This is 12, 11, 10, 9th. Yeah. And then here is 7th and 6th. Yeah. Okay. They exit out in a tie at 16th place with Star Girls. Glitch is taking that 3-1, now waiting beautifully and patiently for the next match, which is going to happen. I want to say in a couple of days. Next Wednesday, it looks like. Wait, the 5th? The 7th? Monday. Ooh, okay. And then KJ and Deadlocked happening right now, and Alt Dimension going to be happening at... Oh, they should be now, if not. Oh, Sunday. Don't mind me, I'm just blind. This is coming up in the next 5 minutes. That's going to be a banger. Likely going to be covered by someone else, I hope. These are some banger matches. Like, hello? Oh my god, what's going on here? They're on game 3. Okay, they're on game 3. I want the New York Giants to win because it's the New York Giants. But otherwise, that is the update on the bracket. Boom, 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 boom. Lower bracket. Waiting on these guys to do their matches. Otherwise, that is all I have for this match. It was a little bit of a short one. Not as long as we had seen earlier in EMEA. But otherwise, that is really all I have. I will hopefully be able to cover some more of these in the next coming days. So otherwise, thank you for tuning in as always. And I will see you guys later.